What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk to you about Lucid. I want to go over some of the data points, break it down, what is really moving it, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So Lucid is down 5.5%, 1161 the low, 1210 the high, and very low volume, so 3.7 million shares being traded. Today kind of is a comical day, only because the market's throwing a little bit of a hissy fit. Primarily because of data. So we did have a couple of key data points come out before the bell. ADP came in at 11.5. Market didn't really move when that came out, so that wasn't that big of a deal. Rather GDP. So GDP came in at 4.3, forecast of 3.2. And for those of you that kind of watched a lot of my videos, I clearly have stated many times that the market wants either a minor miss or a minor beat. That is pretty much it. Anything extreme, the market doesn't like, right? And so for instance, this GDP data came in very, very positive, arguably extreme. So it kind of shows that the economy is doing very well. In the eyes of the feds, this might be enough to really deter a January rate cut. That is what is causing all this kind of mess in the market today. Market is just assuming now the feds won't be cutting. As of right now, it did go from 19.9 down to 13.3% of a likelihood of a 25 basis point cut. So in general, kind of comical. Again, because if you think about it, if the economy is expanding at that rate, and a lot of the other data that's been coming out has been pretty good, then there is no real reason to panic if you think about it, right? It's just the market has certain expectations. It wants numerous cuts. So that's kind of the moral of the story. So let me know your general thoughts on that in the comments below. For those of you that believe in Lucid and many other stocks, this might be a potential early Christmas gift, or might be kind of the start of something very horrific to come, because you have a lot of bears coming out of the woodwork today saying that this is the start of just Armageddon for the most part. At the same time, just based on the time of season, this is just tax loss selling, especially in Lucid's case, which has not been doing that well. So all in all, that's kind of some of the things that's really affecting the broader market. Nothing really specific to Lucid, so no press releases, no SEC filings, no even speculative topics being posted on social media. Ideally, given the circumstances and how close Lucid is to the all-time low, it would be advantageous if we saw a Form 4 pop-up of Lucid management actually buying stock with their own money. I don't know if that's too much to ask for as a early gift, but then again, it's never happened, so I'm not going to be holding my breath for that. But given the circumstances, that would be one of the best sentiment boosters of all time for Lucid, and perfect timing, mind you. So at the end of the day, I think that's kind of the only thing that can really help Lucid. For right now, it's just merely at the mercy of the broader market. Algorithmic trading is just tossing it around, just like leftovers, unfortunately, because you can see from the flow a lot of smaller transactions. So ultimately you're just having institutions kind of sell, and just algorithmic trading really suppressing it even more. So it's not a real good scenario for Lucid. Aside from all of that though, looking on the secondary market, these are some of the transactions over $100,000. So as I mentioned, big money is not really buying as much as I'm sure some people would really like to see. One buy for 240, the rest are sells. So again, not necessarily the best. One thing that you could be seeing over the next week and a half is some abnormal transactions on the dark pool as hedge funds and institutions rebalance. And given Lucid's lackluster performance in Q4, that's a nice way of putting it. Technically, institutions that have a fixed percentage for Lucid of their position, they would have to be buying Lucid. So again, don't be surprised if you see some abnormal buys, but once that does happen, I'll kind of bring those up to you. But these are all the transactions occurring so far on the dark pool. Dark pool is primarily used by shorts and hedge funds. You can kind of see a couple hedge fund transactions. So hedge funds are usually the hold number, so like 10,000 right there, 17,000 and so forth. Everything else, it looks like it is linked to shorts. Aside from all of that fun stuff, as far as shorts, they are currently increasing 101,000 shares. That is net. So now we are officially again at a new all-time high short interest. So for those of you that are shorting Lucid, I guess that is your Christmas gift to the rest of us. Maybe, I don't know. But nonetheless, 33.98% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 44.28 million shares overall being shorted. So unfortunately not the greatest when it comes down to this. And I'd like to say that shorts are going to let up, but honestly, I think it's all going to come down to Lucid hitting their targets. So we'll be finding out probably in around 2 weeks, most likely. So if Lucid hits their target, then probably we could see this go back down to maybe 25. If they miss, then anticipate shorts to just take over, because I think if they miss their targets, institutions are just going to say, F you, Mark, I'm out. I'm not going to deal with incompetent companies that can't manage and there isn't sufficient demand out there. That's literally what institutions are going to say. So it is very unfortunate just how things have all kind of gone down for Lucid, but nonetheless, looking at the options, 663,000 in calls, 967,000 in puts, so kind of low volume for that. 57% of all the options being done are bearish in nature, so looks like there's more downside anticipated. From a bull standpoint, you see consensus for it to be roughly around that 1250 range, and then the bears are anticipating for it to be sub kind of 11, and it looks like slowly progress down to sub $10. And so when it comes down to my options, I did sell some puts recently, and also I did sell some calls, some covered calls. And luckily enough, all of that so far has expired worthless. So my last ones did expire on the 19th. So right now I have no Lucid options whatsoever. So I think if anything, I might be selling, I would assume $8 by, let's say, August. That's probably where I might target, which is unfortunate. Again, assuming that it could go to $8 by August, but yeah, it's Lucid is definitely a required taste. Right now with it at 1162, it is currently trading between this S1 and this S2. So 1029 is going to be that next strong support. And looking at the 1-day chart, so this is, or the 1 day, so these are very strong support and resistance points. And then 1186 is going to be that next strong target. So let me know your thoughts on that. So for those of you that want to kind of swing trade dollar cost average, just watch for 1029 to be kind of the next point. Aside from that though, on the actual chart itself, Lucid had one optimistic day, and that was yesterday. So December the 22nd, it did break above that 10-day moving average. Today, unfortunately, it got slapped back down. So again, shows that it's losing momentum and not really that much in willing buyers. So all in all, there's not really much coming out associated to Lucid either for articles or any news, no real substantial analyst ratings. So I think just everyone is holding their breath for Lucid. So let me know your general thoughts on Lucid. I'm sure you can kind of tell a little bit in my tone today. I'm very frustrated with Lucid. Like every single time it builds up a little bit of momentum, it just gets shot down. And it honestly has nothing to do with institutions. A lot of people always comment saying that it's blah, 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 institutions doing this, manipulation. It is just simply algorithmic trading. What is happening with Lucid is happening across the board. Just Lucid gets hit more because no institutions are there to buy. And the reason why no institutions are lined up to buy Lucid is because of lackluster performance. Management not hitting their targets. Management just being inconsistent. So sorry for being a little bit kind of annoyed today, but I think just Lucid right now is just very unfortunate. And plus, on a side note, like we saw recently what has happened with Rivian. So in case you don't know what has happened with Rivian, they are consolidating today as well, but they had a phenomenal run. Ever since it hit the low of 1239, it just went up to 2269. So for those individuals saying that Lucid and just EVs are being plagued with just manipulation and suppression, this is definitely says otherwise. And during this time frame, they gave a lot of good general updates for kind of them ramping up just new launches, technology. So clearly Lucid, if they get their crap together, or even if they say, hey, you know what, surprise, we're actually going to be moving up the midsize to, let's say, first half of 2026, that would cause similar price action to this for Lucid. But I think us, to be fully honest again, I think we'll be lucky to even see Lucid kind of ramp up significantly. We might be seeing another very similar scenario to the Gravity, where on the end of December, like December 28th, they'll just deliver maybe one or two mid sizes, and that's pretty much it. So I think Lucid really needs to get their stuff together ASAP. So let me know your thoughts on Lucid in the comments below. One final thing, if you're looking for some solid buy signals, pop over to my Patreon. I put out daily day trades, numerous swing trades. Worthwhile to pop over there and check that out. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.